all correct. What are we doing in here next? We need to try to make sense of this data. Okay, so ooh, I guess. So how are we going to find what is significant in here? This is what we are tasked with doing in this assignment. I know we're only 5 or 6 weeks into the semester. You're not an expert at finding what is significant in data. But we're in school. School is practice. I can't stand when people be like, but I've never done this before. And I'm like, great. Well, maybe use school as an opportunity to do something you've never done before then. What a unique position you're in to be registered for a class and doing something that you've never done before. So, we are just going to practice now in school so that one day maybe you'll get that great job as a social scientist who is interpreting data, finding what is significant in there because you had enough practice and now you are an expert. So to do this, though, there is a difference between, say, the male poverty out of the total poverty or male poverty out of the total population. There is a difference between, like, say, a Latin poverty 18 to 24 out of the total Latin poverty or out of the total 18 to 24 poverty. So how do you know which one to do? All we have here is a whole bunch of whole numbers that we want to turn into percents, but we don't want to waste our time turning every possibility. That's way too many things, and we're going to confuse ourselves. So we want to see where some things are significant. We want to make visuals of this. That's the most important thing, is the visuals here. When U.S. federal budget. The U.S. budget, we spend like, I don't know, maybe $3 trillion a year, right? No, you don't know how much we spend? That's the federal budget. I guess, tax dollars don't matter. And so you can go through all these reports and 500 or 1,000-page reports that Congress makes, and you can have the charts of what each line item is in the budget, and it'd be like pages of Excel. But nothing says it like a good visual, right? You look at the visual and you say, oh, I get it. It all goes to the military. Yeah, I see it now. I didn't have to read the 1,000 pages. Nothing can do it quite like a visual. So when you're making your visual, we don't want just, I think I asked this one for 5 visuals. We don't want 5 random visuals. We want visuals that are impactful. We're going to have a table. The table is going to be confusing for your average person. You're the expert who can make sense of the table. We're going to have bullet points. But people only kind of know how to read. Everybody knows how to sound out words and make full sentences. But actually interpreting it is actually more difficult than you think. That's why we got the visual, because nobody likes anything. People love a picture. So we have to have visuals that really express what we found significant in the data. Pie charts are wonderful, aren't they? But pie charts kind of have to be out of 100%, or not even 100%, they need to be out of a total. So using pie charts needs to be selective. Pie chart, water. You've seen these before? All the water on Earth, only this little sliver is fresh water. Out of that sliver, like most of it's in ice caps. The only ones that is available is that little sliver, and that's where it is. That is like a whole semester of some hydrology class in one little visual right there. You see how good a visual is? It's so important that I think in the syllabus I say it like 10 different times, 10 different ways, that we need to make visuals express what's happening in the data. I've said it most of the time we're in here that this stuff is complicated. But that's what social scientists do, is take that complicated stuff of what's happening in the population and we simplify it. We make the audience understand it. Neil deGrasse Tyson, name's familiar? I want everybody's head to say yes. Oh, I love that guy. Are you guys here? The people at home are thinking I'm talking to an empty room right now.
Who? Say the person. No, I'm pretty sure I know.
Neil deGrasse.
Neil deGrasse Tyson. The most famous black physicist.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? Says awesome. He makes great memes because he's not made. He just has awesome sentences that are like bullet points that just capture it all so perfectly and simply. Do you know how complicated the universe is? Do you know how big it is? It's hard to even put your head around just how big Earth is, much less the universe, or what our solar system is, or the galaxy versus the universe. But he can do it and really explain it, and so that just your average person, you don't even need to like have a college education. You can understand what it is that he means. You know how complicated this is? Do you know what all this light is right here? No. These are a billion stars that are so far apart that when you look at them this way, it looks like it's one shining light. But this is like, all of these stars are so far apart, like billions of light years away from each other. But it looks like it's bright. He can explain how complicated. Ours is just like one of these random little stars way over here. How big, the scale of how big it is, he can explain it so simply. You know, one of his best little things that he said was, this stuff is easy. Because there's a formula and it works. And when we figure it out, it's concrete. I like doing this because social science was hard as hell. And I couldn't. Once you put humans into the equation, we got 7 billion people. We're trying to make sense of 7 billion people. But all of us have our own little unique, minds and want to be different. So, stars don't want to be different. All of you want to be different. So, social science is even harder than the hard sciences. I said that on day 1 in here, and I got backup from Neil deGrasse Tyson. He said the same thing. Social sciences is a billion times harder than even physics. So what we want to do in here, though, is find out where are places, what is happening in Dade County, and what is significant in there. So to do it, we're going to need to come up with some visuals that can, first we're going to need to figure out which things to make percentages out of, and then what were the 5 most impactful things in there to make a visual from, and what can we say in there? So bullet points. We're not writing, just bullet points is what we're writing. No paragraphs, except for the first paragraph of methods. So, one thing we can do, this shouldn't count as one of your visuals though, is first of all, just in a pie chart, break down what Miami-Dade County is. And we're using 2014 data. Total pop. Miami is now actually, in here it says it's about 66% Latin, but it's closer to 70% Latin now. The black population is decreasing. The Latin population is growing. It's growing. As it's growing, it's replacing the others, so it's actually by a percent growing a lot more rapidly than the actual influx is. Are you aware of this? Do you see this in your day-to-day life? How many of you are from Dade County? You're not from Dade? Where are you from?
New York.
You came to FIU from New York?
No, I'm not from Dade. I'm from Howard.
You can't tell that something is happening here. What is happening here with the population? First of all, I think when we do this, 99% of Dade or South Florida is going to be white, black, or Latin. So tell me the story. What is happening with white, black, and Latin population here? Because Broward plays a big role in this.
Oh, it's getting more expensive.
Yeah, it's getting more expensive. It's getting more expensive everywhere. What kind of? Not really also. There's plenty of cheap housing. It's just not where anybody wants to live. The place where people want to be is expensive. The place where nobody wants to be, nobody cares about. But that's everywhere. You don't notice that the black people are leaving Dade County and moving to Broward? And we're talking about like 100,000 a year. You see this? Like, where is the stronghold, the significant part of the black population in Dade?
Miami Gardens.
Everywhere from Overtown to Miami Gardens. Like, it just runs that middle. From west of 95 to east of 47.
So are they leaving or are they being pushed out? Because there's gentrification.
Gentrification in Liberty City?
In Overtown.
Overtown is about 1 mile by 1 mile.
In Wynwood.
Wynwood was always empty warehouses. Wynwood, I've seen the thing, trust me, it is involved in gentrification for years, and I have a hard time calling what happens in Wynwood gentrification. Gentry refers to a population. The gentry is the upper middle class. Gentrification means you're going from a low-income population to this gentry population. Nobody really lived in Wynwood, though. It was this vacant park that these rich out-of-towners, New Yorkers and London people, just bought up and created an art district, which really just created the bar scene, I think. I don't know. Wynwood is not an art district. But along, say, 12th Avenue or 27th Avenue on Martin Luther King, all of a sudden now there are Latin people where there were none before. Central Americans are moving in. Venezuela's falling apart. You can't just visually see what is happening around here. When Venezuela is falling apart, you think they're moving to Oklahoma? No, they moved to Doral or Aventura. They're coming here. There's an explosion, a Latin explosion. I think in the 1990 census in Miami, it was less than 50%, and now we're at 70%. Because as a percent, the difference between a whole number and a percent is that when they move in and the black population and the white population are leaving, that percent of the total is increasing even more than immigration. Right? You guys don't know what I'm talking about. In the past, we've had to actually supplement this with other data from what's it called? Homeland Security produces also Excel tables of immigrants where you get admitted and who gets naturalized. And in fact, as me, not Cuban, I thought Cubans came in 1960 and then in 1983 I saw Scarface and then, kind of quieted down after that. No, the most came in the 2000s. When Castro made some law where you could sell your house and have $20,000, $30,000, something along those lines. There was an explosion then, right at the same time. Venezuela's falling apart, and Central America, with more Nicaraguans, Hondurans. In your lifetime, certainly you've seen, from those that live in Dade County, there weren't that many Nicaraguans, Hondurans, Argentinians came. Yeah, that's been big too. But I'm saying the word zero Central Americans. I guess Guatemala's, I don't know. Nicaragua, Honduras. There's been just out of nowhere. There's now a significant population of those three different countries. Also, even Little Havana is no longer Cuban. It is mostly Nicaraguan and Honduran. Is what is the real Little Havana. Thank you. Huh?
There's a lot of Puerto Ricans coming in now for the working.
Right. There are Puerto Ricans who are coming in. because of the hurricane and a whole lot of other things. Puerto Rico's been struggling for quite some time. And I think originally Puerto Ricans would go to New York, and then somebody said, why does this go to Florida? And now they're all over Orlando and even right here in Dade County. But the black population is moving north to Broward or getting the hell out of here and going to, where do you think? Yeah. Atlanta, Charlotte, or Houston. Those cities are exploding with a black population. When I was young, I'm from D.C. D.C. was the Mecca for the black population. It was blacker than Miami is Latin. When I was a kid, D.C. was 80% black, and they called it Chocolate City. Now, I think they call it like Latte City or Cappuccino City because it's just fallen under 50% black. It's too expensive. The explosion now of the black population, of middle class black population, is between Charlotte, Atlanta, and all the way over to Houston. South Florida has the largest concentration of Latin Americans. Now, LA has more Latin Americans as a total number, but as a percent, not even close. This is the most Latin as a percent of any large area in America. That's what a social scientist does, making sense of what's happening with the people. This is all news to you, and you're not gonna look around and notice the stores are changing their name and having different products in there to cater to the new populations.
Winn-Dixie. It's not Winn-Dixie anymore, now it's Fresco.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that type of thing. Yeah.
I'm taking cultural geography, and we looked at a map, and it was like naming like states by their concentration, and it was like they called Florida like Cuban.
Yeah.
And I was confused on why they called it Cuban, but Professor Gonzalez broke it down. But it's like once you go past Broward, you don't see that many Latin people. And I'm from Central Florida, and like coming here was like a different world.
Yeah.
So I see the concentration in like just that small part of Florida.
Right now, I want to just make a total of, so that we can start off. I highlighted that one. We start off what we're doing with a little pie chart. That's total. This is left.
So we're getting the total population of
Okay, you are going to figure out what you're going to do. I'm going to get, and I gave you a couple examples of what you can do, but you need to come up with 5. One thing to start off our report is maybe a pie chart like this. So 65% Latin, the black equals black population divided by total population. .5% black. The white we did not get, but it's about this is black. This is Latin. I'm going to say it's about 14% white. 14. Now, if I just select those things, geography, control Dade, Latin, that percent, black, that one, white, that one, and then insert a pie chart, which is this one. Oh, even I didn't make these a percent. Damn it. We have to multiply, to be an actual percent, we have to multiply this times 100. We're just going to write in 18.5. Now, if I select just these few,
Is there a reason like when we're trying to do it, it's not giving us a value?
what is it?
It's saying like when we try to divide columns.
Hash mark value exclamation
Second
Hold
here.
on. Let me look. Insert. Right. So we can say everything about Latin in black and white, but wow, we see it. Yeah, it is mostly Latin, right? Doesn't that value visual really show? I can't see. You know I'm old. I can't see what that says. What are you asking now?
Like when I push
Hit enter. Wait, what did you try to divide?
the total population by the total population of Latinos.
Where's your total population? Right. First of all, you're in that. You're missing what I just. You're trying to replicate what I just did. Is that why?
Yeah, I was trying to practice.
Okay. Right. So I summed up what those columns were to just get the total of Miami for each one of those ones, and only did that a bottom row that I just made up.
Oh.
So we have it divided by each. So to just have a visual to start off before we go anywhere of explaining now. So if we say, what if we find out, like there's a difference, what I'm getting at when you come up with your own, there's a difference to say the black poverty out of the total poverty, or black poverty out of the black population versus black poverty out of the total population. And it becomes significant when you see that Miami is not very black. So if we see that it's not very black, but and we had half of the poverty population is black, then that becomes really significant. If only 18% of Miami is black, but of everybody that's living below the poverty line, 40% of them are black, when something is going on within the population here. It has a lot to do with why the black population is leaving. It's getting very hard for the black population to get by here. There used to be a much larger percentage of Miami that was black. Like much larger. Now, not so much. As there's been an explosion of Latin, if you just imagine, the jobs are going to be filtered into, there's a power structure here, and it becomes harder and harder if you're not reaping any of the benefits of that power structure. So right across the border, like people, like if you're not from here, people think there's a ton of Jamaicans in Miami. There's not. In Broward there are. As soon as you cross the border, in that whole, all the way up from like Lauder Hills and Lauderdale Lakes and anything else that has Lauder in it, and Oakland Park and Miramar, ton of Jamaicans. It's the number 2 place. New York is still number 1. The number 2 is here. Haitians, we're coming here. Now, they're starting to not come to Miami as much. They're going to Broward. It's a lot easier on the immigrant population to be there. Anyway, so what I did here, let me just erase that, is I summed up the total population, right? Just hit the auto sum of this column. And so what is that? 1.6 billion Latins out of a total population of 2.55, whatever that is, million people. And the black population is somewhere over here. 473,000 is the black population. So if you divide the black population by the total population, we find out that Miami is 18.5% black. So when I made my visual, you don't know what I'm doing?
No, we're asking how do you total sum?
It's a button right there. Sum.
Oh.
You just select what you want to summarize, and you just hit sum. We can hit average too. We hit sum. See these little functions right over here in Excel? All these things, wonderful little functions. And then you can just divide by the black population by the total population to find out what percentage it is. So to make that pie chart, I just took those totals and didn't select all the columns. Just Miami. I made a new row here, Miami-Dade, and then selected those pieces that I wanted, white, black, and Latin, and made a pie chart of it. It adds up to just about 100% is white, black, or Latin here. Very few people who are not white, black, or Latin. Like less than 1%. And then one of my students yesterday, Don? Yeah, Don. So Don sent me this other little link while we were doing this to get updated data. And he was just on this website. Since this is, you can go to all different kinds of counties in America and find out all kinds of wonderful data. So, like, the black population is 85%, like Liberty City. Little Haiti is 72%. Wynwood is 20. Overtown 71. Downtown 8.9. Where I live, yeah, 2.6. That's me and a couple other people. Yeah. I'm like, when I go anywhere, I'm the only black person, and people just assume I speak Spanish. And I don't. One person even said to me, this woman was like, speaking Spanish, blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't speak Spanish. Blah, 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 blah. I said, I don't speak Spanish. She said, oh, your mother messed you up. She didn't teach you Spanish? I was like, my mom's not Spanish. She just could not grasp that I don't speak Spanish. Said, my mom messed me up. I said, my mother. Anyway, so, where were we? You are then going to find out what else you want to figure out in here. Are there places that need more attention? What is significant? So what I want to do is even not have this due Friday, tomorrow. Have it due Sunday? No. Have it due next Friday. You practice a little bit more, and then you come in with what you found significant, and I say, no, that sucks, do it better. And we got one more day to do it better.
What we're supposed to do today.
Exactly, what you did not do, but now I've made more clearer of how you're going to do it. You're going to decide, do a couple little practice runs of like, say, what is, I give you 2 examples in the directions. Try making what is the Latin poverty out of the total Latin population, maybe? I forget. And then what is 18 to 24 out of the total Latin poverty kind of thing. And then see which ones you want to do divisions by to find out the percents and to make your visuals up. So you come in next week with some examples of what is significant, and then we can say, oh, you know what, maybe do this one and that one, and to make a good visual of it, and that's significant. Because really, when I said we had, after we're done with this, we're into module 3, and we're going to read 3 articles. In module 3, we're going to read another 3 articles. But what I could just do is take one of those weeks of articles and just make it the first article for module 3. So we won't lose any time. We're going to end up right back in the same place. But we're just going to take one more week because this is important to know how to have practice digging around to find something significant in this data set. Like I said, when we had this example before of what's happening in Dade County, and in the past I had us looking at NSA data also. Holy cow, you know there was a gunman at the NSA yesterday too?
Oh yeah, the SUV.
Yeah.
And they were like,
What
it's
the
not
hell
really-
is going on with him? Anyway, so we were looking at what the increase year by year of who's going to get admitted from each country to each county, along with what is happening with censusing and comparing the two. And like, you think you're lost now? Whew, no, that got nowhere. That's why I say, you know what? We're not going to mess with other data. We're only going to do census in module 1. Even that helper we did last week. It's better, I'll just give it to you. You don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, you're going to practice this, come up with some good visuals, find out what's significant, and we're going to talk about it one more time next week. Any questions? The thing is, this is not like other classes. I think, the professor's like out to get you or something. I really just want everybody to leave. There is no gotcha moment. I want everybody to leave knowing how to try, or at least have practice making sense of data and trying to express it in some way to the public. Some of you are better at it than others. It's not an A for effort. Some of you will get an F for effort. But as long as you put forth, it's better I just create the pace that we're going to go, and you come up with something. It might not be the best thing, but it's good. Yeah, it was something significant. You tried. Don't do the first 5 percentages to make visuals of, and they suck. And then I'm just like, why do we even do this? But that's why we're going to take another week, so we have more time to come up with something good, and everybody can have something good. And then, you know what's easier it is for me to grade 28 A's? It's much easier. So much easier. You say, yeah, A. If you get to grade and get 28 minutes, it goes 28